a.k.a. Best Bail Bonds. Big game coverage live from Las Vegas. Powered by Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, Synergenics, and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Hey, huddle up, everybody. It is the Morning Huddle. He is RJ Ochoa. I am Rob Thompson. It is big day on Media Row. It is Friday. It is summing up all the reasons why we're here, and the place is buzzing. We promised him to you. He is here. Kellen Winslow Sr., Hall of Famer, one of the finest football players ever to set foot on a football field, and what an appropriate man to have on the eve of what will be, I expect, to be tight end central come up on Sunday. Welcome aboard, sir. It is a genuine honor to meet the Hall of Fame.
Thank you. What's happening Sunday?
There's a little game going on after all this gambling.
Is that why we're here?
Well, there's a lot of reasons why we're here, but that would be one of the many, of course.
It should be a good game. It should be a good one.
You know, when we look at a game of this magnitude and we look at the tight ends that are here and how they got here, think about your day. You were, in my mind, the original receiving dual threat, multi-tight end out there, and you see where you were there kind of on an island to where these guys are now. But they're all basically doing what you were doing way back 25, 30, 40 years ago.
40 years ago.
I hate to say it that way, but it hurts.
Yeah, it does. It does. It just cut me. I was the lucky one to be in San Diego with Don Coryell and Joe Gibbs and Ernie Zampese. A bunch of guys before me and during the times that I played could have done the same thing, but they did not have the coaching staff who looked at me and said, okay, well, he's smart enough to understand what we're trying to get done. He can do the adjustments that we need to have done. He can do the movement, but a lot of guys could do that before me. But I was with the San Diego Chargers with Don Coryell and Joe Gibbs, as I said before, who took that chance and took out the fullback and put in second tight end. Changed the whole game.
The Air Coryell offense obviously still ripples into the NFL today. I wanted to ask, you're wearing your Pro Football Hall of Fame vest? I guess probably the best way to look at it.
It's a sweater vest. Okay. It's the only thing I have clean today.
Either way, I love the Hall of Fame. It's kind of a museum, in a great way to the game of professional football, obviously. Yes. It honors the game's greats. My favorite thing is when people like you, I cover the Dallas Cowboys, people like Mel Renfro.
Oh, sorry.
Believe me, I get it. But I never thought that Kellen Winslow would burn me like that. But, hey.
You set me up. I'm sorry.
People like Mel Renfro wear it as a badge of honor, because it is. I mean, it's the most prestigious fraternity in all of sports.
I am the 180th member.
That's awesome.
Of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It's something that I carry with a great deal of pride and hopefully with integrity. It's a great place. It's to honor a great game, and the fact that I'm the 180th player is, to me, mind-blowing. So, yeah, I carry with a lot of reverence.
When we think of tight ends, certainly the first of those, the receiving threat wide tight ends that had that wide receiver fill that could fill the fullback role, which I hadn't really put into place. When you look at Kittle and you look at Kelsey, what do you see that makes them different?
Well, they love the game. They're just out there having fun, doing their thing, sometimes a little freelancing, and the offense allows them to do that, but their personalities come out. And you can see that they really enjoy and they love what they're doing, and when the game's on the line, they want the ball. Now, having been in huddles, having been in huddles at all different levels, high school, college, and professional, not everybody wants the ball when the game's on the line. Let's just be honest.
Right.
Not everybody wants the ball. Some coaches don't want to make that call on a certain play. They don't want the responsibility. These guys want the ball. They say, come to me. If you want to win, come to me.
And talk about the relationship you need with your quarterback to be that guy, because when I look at Kittle, he just feels like Purdy and he are on the same wavelength, and we can go on and on about the Kelsey-Mahomes chemistry. With your particular circumstance, and you certainly played with a great quarterback for a long time in Fouts, what was it about the relationship and that reaction inside of an offense that Coryell put together that allowed you to do those things?
Well, when you say relationships, I thought we were going to move into the Taylor Swift part of the program.
Well, different thing.
But that's a different relationship. You have to have that understanding and that trust. Dan would throw the ball and say, go get it. It's your job to go get it. He would trust you to do that. And if a quarterback has any millisecond of hesitation that you're not going to fight for that ball, they're not going to throw it to you. You know, when the game's on the line, when you might have two guys hanging on you, they're still going to throw it. And you have to have that type of trust relationship with the quarterback that you're going to battle for that ball, and he can trust you to come up with that ball.
Science has obviously come a long way in the last 40 years, and I'm very fascinated to hear about how it impacts pork rinds. But you very famously played in the longest game ever. And you think about today's day and age, my wife, when she ran a marathon, she had this like protein goo that she would to help, on the like 12th or 13th mile. And even physical fitness has all sorts of advancements in technology and,
yes, they have.
Whatever. I mean, do you look at things like that and say, you had literally a Pro Football Hall of Fame career, that it could have been even more different, even more great if you played in today's day and age?
Well, I try not to get into that comparison based on generations, because they're just not apples and oranges. The guys who played before me played under, let's say, a lack of awareness on physical training and preparation of a game.
Okay.
Because
You're being nice.
It just wasn't there.
Right.
It's not that they wouldn't have done the work. When I played, we were part-time players, honestly. You play for 6 months out of the year. You went and had a job during the off-season. The money's not what it is now. The guys over the last 20 years are full-time professionals. They in San Diego, when we finished the season, you had to clean out your locker because they needed that locker for another event. Our weight room became the San Diego Padres visiting team locker room.
Well, that could speak to the Spanish, could mean a lot of things, but that seems ancient,
It does, but that was around a training room. A training room was filled with storage stuff until they were rolling around the next season.
Right.
And if you went in for treatment, you had to clear off a table to be able to get to the table to get to the trainer. And but it's just the money has made it different. Having a facility that you can go to every day, and that's your locker, and you can talk to a nutritionist, and you can go down the hall and use the weight room. I was a member of 24-Hour Fitness in California because I needed a gym to work out in all season.
You're speaking to something, as we were talking with Kellen Winslow Sr., Hall of Famer, one of the greatest to ever lace up a cleat, regardless of position. And you talked about being a part-time football player. And as we come up to one of the highest and greatest holidays in America, February the 11th, which is Pork Rind Appreciation Day, and they're going to play a football game along with that. The reason we celebrate Pork Rind Appreciation Day is to benefit guys like you, the guys that were part of the NFL that gave everything and weren't playing at a time when the benefits were coming back. And the good folks over at Rudolph Food and a variety of others have come together to help those folks, those guys that gave, that were our idols, that are sitting aside needing the kind of thing that I think most people think they got. That we expect. These are all millionaires out there, and all these guys, whether they played in 1975 or 95, are living the life, and they're not.
No, they're not. The benefits they've gotten better over the last 2 collective bargaining agreements. The opportunities to see a medical doctor and get an opinion and have a surgery based on something that happened 20 years ago is a lot better than it was before those 2 CBAs. The Gridiron Greats, a group that Mike Ditka started, another tight end, another member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
For the Cowboys,
those tight ends, right?
For the Cowboys, it's okay.
He did?
Yeah,
he doesn't talk about that much.
He has good reason too.
I love the Cowboys.
Sure.
How about those Cowboys? Okay. But they started this group to kind of fill in where people were falling through the cracks, and it was greatly needed. When I retired, 30 days, and this I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this, 30 days after I retired, I went on Cobra.
Again, did you guys hear that? 30 days after a Hall of Famer, one of the players of the century, the NFL, had to go on Cobra at 30 days after he ended his career. That's why these big games and these kind of benefits matter, and that's why I'm excited to be sitting next to a good friend of mine and a guy who understood it from the very get-go. Remember, this is 15 years of Pork Rind Appreciation. Mark Singleton joining us with Rudolph Foods. You guys stepped in with Rudolph and saw a need. And tell me, of course, pork rinds and football come together. It was a marriage that was coming. But how did this begin, and where are we now?
when we came up with the idea for Pork Rind Appreciation Day, we immediately looked for someone that we could help. We looked for, what's a need we can fill? How can we turn this idea into a way to raise money? And we just really lucked out and hooked up with Coach Dicka and the Gridiron Greats, and we saw the work that we were doing, and we thought, wow, pigskins and pigskins just go together. And we've been together on Radio Row for 15 years, and the amount of money we've raised and the people we've helped and those stories have just been amazing. I mean, people that, as Kellen knows, that prior to the last CBA, they couldn't even get their knees worked on. We flew them to Dallas to Dr. Meister, who's U.S. Olympic Hockey and the Rangers, and had knees worked on. Coach paid for the hotel room. He paid for the player's mom to come take care of him during the rehab. And those things prior to the CBA were so important. And now we even have, since some of those needs are taken care of, we can help even more people with the other expenses like automotive payments, child care, transportation to have the surgeries. And the greatest thing about Coach Dick is how much of the money goes through to the player.
Right through. Yep.
Right through. And that's what we were looking for.
Now, there's a way that is helping with the Ditka Jaws Cigar Party that's coming up and all the funds that are raised there. But our listeners, you can help, and there's benefit to it as well. I want you to go to porkrindappreciationday.com. Lots of details there, but there's money to be won as well.
Yeah, $5,000 in 15 months of supply of pork rinds.
You know how many pork rinds I can eat in 15 months?
Yes, I've seen you eat them. It's a lot.
I've seen a pallet. I don't have enough room in my garage, especially if you've had the sweet barbecue, which is a brand new flavor. But I have been talking about this for weeks. If you have not had the Hot Honey Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rind, it's another food group. We've invented a brand new food. I've never had anything like it.
Oh,
it is extraordinary.
It'll make your mouth a porgasm.
A porgasm is what we all desire on an early Thursday morning. I'm telling you, the Rudolph Foods folks, Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, they're doing good things. Help them out. Go to Pork Rind Appreciation Day. Have a porgasm while you're out there. Kellen Winslow Sr., an incredible honor. The reason I do what I do is to meet folks like you. Thank you so much for what you did for me.
Appreciate
and all that we've done as a football fan. Thank you. It's been a genuine honor. Mark, thank you so much, as always, doing good deeds. Thanks for stopping by, guys. We certainly appreciate you.
Bravo.
Best Bail Bonds, big game coverage live from Las Vegas. Powered by Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, Synergenics, and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.